Excuse me. Let's wake up. Everybody get up. Get up. Friday morning, 12:25. Come on, everybody. Get your ass up. Get on over here. Hope everybody's doing groovy. I'm going to talk about some people who just, I love to as Mrs. O would call it, gossip. I don't call it gossiping. I call it just pointing out realities. Sometimes I think there are people, interestingly enough, that whose life, whose presence brings me great joy by virtue of the fact that and I use the word hate too much, but I despise. And when I despise people, it's a good feeling. It's not a negative feeling. It's not a bad feeling. It's not I don't know what the word is. It's just, it's fun. And this morning I was looking through my various things, and I kind of I get reacquainted every now and then with Facebook. Facebook is such a strange thing because it's there and I don't really follow it, but in any event. So I'm looking through Facebook, and lo and behold, I see somebody I used to work with who is a complete and total asshole. I mean, he is just such an idiot, and he was sort of a boss, but not really, if that makes any sense. He's not really a boss, in any event. So, he is an absolute jerk. Let me see. He is a jerk. Okay, there we go. And I haven't seen him in a long time. And when I looked at him, it made me feel like, what an asshole. Still as smug and arrogant, and one of the most stupid people that I've ever met. And interestingly enough, I thought to myself, I know theoretically I'm supposed to say that that's negative, and, I shouldn't be thinking that. But in a very strange way, it brings me a great source of happiness. It makes me happy. I get a sense of happiness by pointing out what a jerk this fellow is, and what a complete and total asshole he is. And how do I say this? It's important for us sometimes to realize, just like Gore Vidal did it, that there's a certain degree of happiness, a certain degree of benefit that comes from us loathing and despising certain people. Does that make any sense to you? It is okay to hate. And we're going to use that word hate. Despise, abhor. But do you hate somebody? Do you have somebody, when I say hate, somebody whose presence makes you crazy? For example, mine is, of all people, Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson has always, and I've said, is so full of shit. And FOS is a different category. There are stupid people. Piers Morgan, he's the clown. He's the person who kind of figures out how things work. There are people who are seemingly smart, but act stupid. Kim Kardashian, she is as smart as it gets by virtue of how they have parlayed this. There's Sal Angelo, Jordan Peterson, Jadrul. He's a chidrulo. Absolutely. But what I'm trying to say, perhaps circuitously, is that it gives me a great sense of happiness for me to sometimes revel in how I despise him. And some would say, no, that's negative. No, it's not. First of all, he's a phony. And there are people that I hate more than anything else, people who are full of shit. It's the worst. It means full of shit, bullshitter. I have an entire piece. I've taken every version of the word full of shit and the like. Full of shit, full of ape shit, bat, whatever it is. And I've put them all together into a compilation. And they are the most wonderful gradations of whatever. So Jordan Peterson comes across. And he is a phony. And he's also, as my friend loves to say, he is a pseudo intellect. He's somebody who, for whatever particular reason, has just slipped through the cracks and has bamboozled people into thinking that he is possessed of something by virtue of this gibberish nonsense, this absolute nonsense that he has been able to portray for the longest time. And I don't know how it works. I don't know how he ever fooled anybody. And now he's into, either he is an atheist or he's not. And there are these wonderful people that I have followed who I think are very, very smart and very, very interesting. And they are, how do I say this? They're very, very fascinating. I want to bring you to one. I want to bring you to one. One fellow I was watching. He's very, very good, and his name is. And I'm going to bring this to your attention. His name is. Let me give you the whole thing. Oh, this is good. Jordan Peterson. I was just watching him today. I was also watching my good friend Roseanne on Piers Morgan, and that doesn't come through very well. Here's a fellow I like, Cosmic Skeptic. Have you seen him? Cosmic Skeptic is terrific. His name is Alex O'Connor. And Alex O'Connor is very, very smart, but he is full of shit. And he is brilliant, but he uses and parlays that British accent stuff into Cosmic Skeptic, into this false sense of British. It's kind of like that Anglophilic thing that we believe in. So he just destroys, and I agree with him 100%, destroys our friend, what's his name, Jordan. And the reason why is because what he says is virtually nothing. It's one thing I've learned about radio. You meet some of the craziest people in this business. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to name anybody in particular. So I find this fascinating. So anyway, on the way over in the car, I was in a car. You know that old car smell? Have you ever smelled it? It's not dirty. It's somebody, it's their old car. You know, I don't want to say it. Look, take me to where I'm going. But as I'm in this old car smell, I was just watching and thinking about Jordan Peterson and how he is able to parlay this. I saw his name on Radio City Music Hall. Radio City Music Hall. And I cannot believe how anybody would pay money to listen to a word he said. Especially those people who I think are looking desperately for some kind of answers to things. I think there are people who are trying so desperately to find answers, and they look at him as some kind of a prophet when in fact he's not. Now forgive me, my dear friends, I'm trying to get my iPad coordinated, so I know you were very, very kind in I know you were very, very kind in this over here. I'm logging into this Gmail and this, and it's a long story. So I'm going to try my best to get to this. Where do we go? How do I get to this? Hang on a minute. Let me see if I can do something here. I'm going to try my best because I want to jump in on this, and I can't do it. I hate when people try to explain to you what they're doing. But trust me, I know what I'm doing, but I can't explain why I can't log it. Anyway, I hope everybody's doing great today. This is my Friday. This is my weekend. This is my end of the week. Isn't that great? And I am loving every bit of it. I'm loving this. It's been a very good week today. Today, Mrs. Ellen and I've got a big day. Oh, we got such a big day. We're going to go to Stu Leonard's and pick up some corn. We're going to go to Costco and pick up some more coffee. Got to get this is my coffee. I know you're not supposed to like this, but Pike Place Roast. The best coffee there is. It's the only coffee I go. I don't like Starbucks. I can't help it. Pike Place roast, we get a box of 72. 72. Can you imagine that? 72. Let me try something. Maybe it'll work if I try something else here. Anyway, how's everybody doing? Peterson is as dangerous as Jim Jones. I don't think he's dangerous. Jim Jones was a legitimate cult leader. Jim Jones did some pretty terrible things. The point is that many of you, dear folks, need some kind of guidance. You need guidance. You need help. You need somebody to bring up. You need kind of like others. And I'm not going to bring this up, but you tend sometimes to need, some people do, the Bible or God or whatever. And I'm not, listen, to each his own. But what he does is he's a pseudo-intellect. And he loves to deliberately, Sam Harris does that to an extent too. People who love to deliberately create the illusion of somebody who is smart. Now, anybody who's smart that I've ever met, you just know they are, and they don't have to tell you. And they feel very good about who they are, and they don't feel the incessant need to repeat the fact that they are smart. They don't have to tell you this. You just kind of know it. Like George Keene, who says, Lionel, sent you a super chat. Thank you, George. I'm still trying my best, buddy. I'm trying to get, that's what I'm trying to do. I thank you for that, my friend. I'm trying to log on because I can't, when I put my phone on this, I can't go back and I can't, it doesn't work. I don't know how to tell you this. So I'm going to try, that's why I'm desperately trying to talk to you and do this simultaneously without sounding like an idiot, which is what I'm doing right now. I sound like a complete and total idiot, and I don't mean to. So just bear with me, dear friends. Bear with me. I'm trying to, let me see here. Here's videos, view all. There he is. Sal Angelo says, I've had trouble sending super chats. Am I being censored? I don't believe so. I just saw that one, my friend. And by the way, Sal, thank you. You're a good man, Charlie Brown. Gerald, see, I can't, I'm trying desperately to get on this phone because let me try this again. Let me see if I can do this. Because I can't answer you. Hang on a minute. Anyway, I'm getting to the bottom of this, by God. By gum. Let me see this. That doesn't work. Home here, it doesn't work either. You know, I have this let me see this. YouTube.com. Let me try this. Let me see if I can do this. Let me see if this works out. No, that's not it. Wait a minute. We might be onto something here. Let me try something here. We might be onto something. If I just go to plain old YouTube, there we go. Let's see what happens here. There we go. Hang on a minute. Hang on. We might have some good news here. Hang on. See, I should have done this ahead of time, but I did it because I was so excited to talk to you that I missed the whole point. And hey! Here we go. All right. Yeah. This is terrific. There we are. Well, let's go through this. This is fantastic. We're gonna go back to the basics. We're gonna thank, first of all, Sal Angelo said, Jordan Peterson Jadrul, thank you for the super chat. George Keene said, L, you're the catcher from Rye. Get it? Get it? You are so funny. Thank you. Also, George Keene says, Lionel sent you a super chat. Thank you so much. Sal said, I'm in trouble. No, we got that one. George Keene said, I smell funny and have no friends. Just kidding. You should have a phony of the week segment. I'm writing this down. Phony of the week. Here's another one too. George Keene, you are 1,000% more prepared than Ted Cruz. That is true, sir. I also want to show you something which is interesting. I put together this wonderful piece a while back, and it is an ongoing update. And it's, I think, and I can say this, and you know me, I'm not gratuitously profane, but I love the word. I think shit is the most volatile, the most versatile word there is. Shit is the most versatile word there is. It is, and I have put together a word of a variety of words, of just the use of the word. Now I'm going to read through this, and you're going to think that you have, that I've left something out, but I haven't. And I'm going to read you all the variations of this. Shithole, bullshit, horse shit, ape shit, bat shit, chicken shit, jack shit, no shit, dip shit, full of shit, scared shitless, shitstorm, shithouse, brick shithouse, you're shitting me, shithead, shit for brains, dumb shit, SOL, shit out of luck, shit-faced, I shit you not, good shit, as Carlin, don't know shit from Shinola, shit a brick, take or give a shit. You can take a shit, you can give a shit. Big difference. Shit or get off the pot, I'm the shit, shit or wind your watch, shit or go blind, shits and grins, shits and giggles, eat shit and die, in deep shit, shit hit the fan, shit's going down, crazy as a shithouse rat, shit on a shingle, hot or cold as shit, hot shit, shit's creek, shoot the shit, shit for brains, shit face, shit cow, a shit show, holy shit, oh shit, no shit, shitless, shit low, shit yeah, pile or piece of shit, give a shit, deep shit, dip shit, no shit Sherlock, shit can, don't shit where you eat, shit just got real, get your shit together, lying sack of shit, shitter, shitty, shit kickers, talking shit, and you're shitting me. Okay. Now, believe me, you're going to be writing something right now. You're going to say, oh, shithole, and I will have said it. I don't think I left anything out. Now, by virtue of what I did just now, I enjoyed this prolific nature of the word. And I think it is because the F word is to me the most unimaginative. There's no sheer versatility. And I love explaining the various gradations. John Jelaine says, it is a word that is simultaneously an antonym. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, well, I don't know what you mean by that. An antonym meaning the opposite of that? That's very interesting. I'm going to ask a chat GPT why this is so. And this is a subject which, by the way, I'm going to tackle on WABC. But I'm not going to use the word. Antonym is a word that means the opposite of another word. Hot, cold, fast, slow, light, dark. I don't know if it's best an antonym, but that's a very interesting point. But it is the most prolific word. And if I were to teach somebody who came to this country from another area, another land, I would say you must become proficient with this word, or else you're gonna miss the boat. And by missing the boat, you're not going to understand what is happening. George Keane says, happy to see you are almost at 300,000 versus 176 subs. Oh, I know. And I was doing greater. And then these numbers go up and down. It's the strangest word. I just did a piece, George, thank you, with Sean Atwood, and the numbers went down. I'm thinking this is weird because he's very, very popular and he's coming in on 1 million. So I don't understand it. Look, you don't want to push the point too much. Sin says, one of my pet peeves, the gratuitous use to the point of absurdity of the F word. Yes, see, here's the thing. I can tell when a word is used almost stylistically. Somebody said the other day, we were talking, and I said, hey, are we going to go someplace? He goes, fucking A. There was nothing gross about that. That is a legitimate, absolute word. And I think Jordan Peterson would have a hard time with that. I started off with this thing of Jordan Peterson. I don't know if you're really going to get to it. Jordan Peterson is just full of shit. That's where this started from. I have no, I don't know. Don't try to. Joe Rogan, the thing I don't like them at all about what he does is he is too enslaved to this. Could you get on the gaggle with Pete and George? I have been, yes, indeed. I have been, indeed, I have been. Recently I was on, I think we did Crosstalk. Oh, they're great people. I think the word of them. Think the world of them. I'm also finding out that people, when it comes to the issue of Palestine, there's such insincerity. There are people who are they're going out of their way to explain it. Let me tell you what I heard the other day, which is very interesting. If you came along during the time of slavery, would you give slavery a kind of a look, of a perspective? Would you give slavery a look? If you were describing, for example, hang on a minute. If you were describing, let's say the time of the end of slavery, would you find yourself listening to or hearing the point of view of the slave masters? Or do you think they have anything to do with it? What people are doing to the Palestinians is just, it's disgusting. Gordon, I like that George says, Gordon Peterson, you should make a personality the way you want to portray Jordan person. Yes, Jordan P. Cut Up says, it seems folks I thought sensible on every side are making less sense all at once, making insane turnabouts. Are we witnessing mRNA brain damage? I don't know. I don't understand how people can understand that the Palestinians, irrespective of what, have been treated barbarically, and absolutely positively deserve to be accorded human rights and the like. Fishman says, why don't white Irish people have a special day? There were still slaves after blacks were freed. Yes, that's also a very interesting thing. I asked, I was on last time at WABC. By the way, we're going to be starting in about 12 minutes on 77 WABC or WABCradio.com. And there was a fellow I talked to, and he was a black man from Chicago who's gay. And I said, you're black? I said, did you ever get any trouble? Did you ever get any trouble for sounding white? And he said, wow. I said, no, be honest with me. You know what it's like for people who, I think all of us can relate to this, people who are absolutely, positively, inordinately handsome or beautiful. If you're inordinate, I had a friend of mine years ago who was a cop. And I've only seen it one time. He could walk into a place and women would just go crazy. We were having lunchtime and women would drop off their cards with their phone numbers. I never even think this existed. And he was like, yeah. I said, do you ever get tired of that? He says, yeah. Because it's obnoxious. It sounds at first as though it's great, but then people think you're almost like, like women must feel who are bothered in their life. George King says, when next in D.C., Lincoln's Cottage during the summers has been turned into a human trafficking monument. You and Mrs. L should go. Ooh, I will do this. Lincoln's Cottage. By the way, do you think President Trump's acting okay? Be honest with me. Somebody pointed out the other day, they said, do you think that Melania's holding his arms too much? You think? And I said, oh, I don't know. I mean, the man is entitled to be, if he's pushing 80, he might slow down in certain areas. Do you think that maybe, did you see the 180 he did regarding Iran? He goes, oh, you don't want to wait 2 weeks. Well, because I don't want it to go the way of North Africa. I was like, who's advising you? Is he okay? I know I'm all over the place with the questions, but is he okay? Is he okay? I mean it. I know you're going to say, oh, yes, I love him. I know. But is he okay? Do you think he's acting okay? Or is he acting a little shingad? Do you notice that? Sean says, yes, he's okay. Absolutely okay. How do you know he's okay? How would you know he's okay? They talked about his hands that they're doing bluish. He has something called purpura, which is for older folks. George Key says, so concerned about DJT. George W. Bush had team approach. Yes, he did. I don't know about Trump's team. I love the guy. He's been talking to Jordan. The question I have is very simply this. Do you think if there was something not right with him, we would know? Do you think people would dare say? I had somebody suggesting maybe there's some stiffness in his gait, that maybe he had some kind of a brace or something. I didn't see this. People were telling me this. It's like, well, he is, my only concern about him is not his mental capacity, the people around him, the people who claim to be his advisors. And also, when you get to be 80, look, let me ask you something. Men and women, what was the first thing you've seen? Who tells DJT when he is off track? It's a good question, George. I don't know. Answer me a question. Men and women, what's the latest thing you've seen where all of a sudden you said, hey, I must be getting older, I'm seeing this. When you get older, you see things. I'm at the stage where a lot of my friends joke about not being able to remember names, but I'm able to handle so many different issues. I'm not at that point yet because I don't know how critical remembering names is. But have you noticed where all of a sudden you'll say, hey, this is sagging. Hey, I've got a crease here. Hey, be on the lookout for this thing. This is something that when you get older, everybody gets it to an extent. This is called platysmal dehiscence. This is when the platysma, the sheet of muscle here, becomes separated in this thing. People get it. You want to get upset over it? Go be upset about it. Everybody gets it. How's Judge Janine doing as DC U.S. Attorney? I think she's doing very well. And I think, another one I think who's doing very well is Alina Habba in New Jersey. But what have you noticed? Don't sell blue meth, please. I don't know what blue methylene blue is like. I have no idea. Too much pressure plus doesn't trust anyone will drive a person mad. The skin starts looking weird. That's right, Sin. Your skin, you will lose an area. See how your hands start to get that older because you lose this layer of fat underneath. Yeah, it happens. Men, how many men have ear hair? Do you wash your? Do you ever shave your? Don't ever shave, but ever trim your ears? By the way, I've got to stop this. Can you believe how much we've talked about so far? This has been the craziest conversation. Everything from shit to this to the F-bomb to this to Jordan Peterson to hairy ears to skin. I love it. I hope you love this too. Make sure you listen to me on WABC coming up. Remember WABCRadio.com, also 77 WABC. Make sure you do this, please. Please do this. Please follow me. And when you call up, tell the board op, we call him Riff Raff. His name is Elias. Good man. 800-848-9222. I'll give it to you this. Let me see if I can give you this. Let me see, 800, let me see here, 800-848-9222. That's the number. Drinking and listening to Lionel at night. All right, Sailor Dude. That's our number, 800-848-9222. Call up and tell Riff Raff that you were just listening to Lionel Nation. And in any event, so listen, I got to run. I got to grab some coffee and go to the little boys' room, as they say. We love you. I'll be on today at 9 o'clock, so that'll be later on. So in any event, dear friends, have a great and a glorious, 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 glorious day. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for the great shout-outs, for the great George Keane and others, and thanks for the super chats. I appreciate that immensely. Fishman and others. We'll talk later. I got to run. Oh, I got 4 minutes. Anyway, I love yous. Talk to you later. Take care, friends. Don't forget, Monkey's Dead show's over. See you. Ta-ta.